So we put on the website, we put on the consultation form, we start recording. I'm getting ready.
Well, you're going to see him at his worst today.
Sir, may I come over here, please? Sure.
Hey, dog.
All right, I'm gonna have you
Dog.
put this around his neck. Okay. Please, that should be inside. Look at it. Go around his neck here. Okay. Just pinch forward like this. Okay. Okay. And this should help us de-escalate him much better than the harness. The harness actually creates more aggression. Okay.
See, the other trainer, we went to a behaviorist. Right. Right, and that's why we're here.
Yeah.
Because I think he's actually gotten worse.
Step out for a moment.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
Once you feel like you're secure,
Okay, thank you. No, he hasn't worked. No, because he has more control over us. It's funny because, you know, this house, since he's been on the harness, like, he does that thing where he pulls when he walks outside. Relax. Dog is. Everything good?
You gotta put this, you gotta bend it in.
We got one.
I know. Was it supposed to be the other way?
Yeah. Alright, stop. Yeah, I just got them. You just want to call him back in and see, ask him if it should be both rings.
Is it both rings? I got the, the harness is out of one. Just the swivel one? Just the swivel one. Okay, he's
Okay.
locked up.
Alright, we're good.
Okay, so what you're gonna do here, straight up. Yeah, and then pull the harness, and pull straight up, right, up. And you're gonna feel him relax.
Yeah.
Okay, when you start to feel him relax, you ease that pressure. Okay, go ahead and have it up, and you're gonna stay seated, see it? Okay, and then relax. Okay. I'm gonna move my seat here. If he goes, you're just gonna pull.
Okay.
And then move one back. So you know, right? Relax. All right. Doug, correct?
Yeah.
Alrighty. So I believe this is the guy that walks with you.
Yes.
Is that correct? And
Yes.
he's got two Kowalski brothers.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. One's 4 years old and one's 1 year old.
Right.
Okay. And they've been socialized, and I think it was more social general control over them.
So we got the 4-year-old Pomsky first, from a breeder. He was a rescue. So he was, well, from what we've ascertained based on his behavior, when he was at when I'm sure you've heard this 100 times, when he was at the rescue center, the shelter, he didn't act like this. We got him home, you know, we started crating him and realized, holy crap, when he comes out of the crate, he's ready to fight. So he was trained, obviously, something from a young age to be aggressive, forcefully. He's fine with the other dogs. I mean, the only time that we have an issue with them is when they're outside. So they generally do okay on walks together. It's when there are other people or dogs come near us. It's funny because he actually used to be more reactive. Now he's kind of eased off a little bit, and it's the other guys, but they all rile each other up, as you can appreciate. He though is, as you can see, extremely people and animal aggressive. And from what we can figure out, it's fear-based. I mean, he's afraid of everything outside of our four walls. You get him in the car, he shakes like a leaf. Even like when we were muzzle training him, you put the muzzle on him, he shakes like a leaf. So he's reactive to noises, just everything. But see this, we've never been able to do this with another person in the room that is not our immediate family.
So that'll be $1,000. Up, yep, and then keep up, and now relax. Yeah. Up, pull up, and now relax. There we go. The reason why that triggered is because the energy changed. Because you laughed and I laughed.
Okay.
So here, good job. And relax, yep. I'll have to test a little bit more to really see what he's about. But definitely up there in intensity. Okay. So you said he had worked with the Behaviorist, now he's on fluoxetine.
So he had been on the fluoxetine before we got to the Behaviorist. Our vet had put him on that. The Behaviorist put him on a bunch of stuff that he was on gabapentin, clonidine. The approach that she was taking was to protect him from the world. And that doesn't work for us. You know, I can't board him, we can't go on vacation. So it was, she wanted us to get a noise machine. She wanted us to, it's just not realistic for our way of life. The clonidine doesn't make sense because again, that desensitizes him to the world. So when he's on it doesn't do.
He shakes a little bit and it doesn't do much,
And that's the thing, and I finally got this on film, because we just started recording stuff due to COVID. But your story is not the first, not going to be the last. I'm assuming this person's like a PhD behaviorist.
Yep.
Bullshit.
I know.
So I had a young lady, she spent I think about $1,000 for 3 hours with a PhD behaviorist. Same story, never got anywhere. And I came in, I told her it would be $1,000 for 6 classes and the collar that you'll need. And we got it done in 2-3 classes.
Yeah.
Okay. And she was just like, this is crazy. And I go, yeah. I'm like, because they have PhD and or doctor or whatever, unfortunately people think this is gonna work. And everybody wants to throw pills at everything.
Yep.
And it doesn't work. So not only is it not realistic for your way of life, it's just not realistic, period. Sheltering them from the world.
Well, and I will say the fluoxetine, that does work. I mean, we noticed a distinct downtick in his general anxiety on that. And the vet has actually upped that since. He was originally on 20 and now he's on 40. When he's not on that, we can tell a difference. But we don't give him the other 2 anymore.
Gotcha. Is he on fluoxetine now?
Yes.
Yeah, so I didn't know.
Yeah. Here, no. But yeah, I guess for just like, from what we noticed, just in our everyday environment,
Sure.
he's much less noise reactive, and he calms down, I feel like. Don't you feel like he calms down more than he used to? He also does not roam at night like he used to on the fluoxetine.
Okay, so have you done any kind of training yourself?
Yes. I mean, we do. I mean, when he came to us, he couldn't do anything. So, he sits, he gives you his paw. He's very...
He used to guard his food, like when we first got him.
Yep.
Everything was guarded. So it seemed like he probably was starved.
Yep.
So we couldn't even bump into him or come close to him if he was eating. And now the other dogs could come by him.
We don't have to
his
pick up
bowl.
the food anymore.
Yeah, they can go into his bowl and he can go in, and there's no aggression at all with food anymore.
So yeah, he has come, since we've gotten him, he has come a long way. If you tell him, if we were to do our look thing, other behaviorist was having us do life skills training, that I mean, he did previously, he's fine with that. He needs to get reacclimated and comfortable to be able to trust other people and other animals. And his issues are more so trust related,
Everything's a
potentially,
threat.
potentially based on, you know, the fighting or whatever he was being trained to do when he was rescued.
Okay. Does he have scars or something?
No,
No.
no.
Okay.
When we got him, he was very skinny, like bony. We've had him for a couple years now, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
And
compared to
you
what
have-
he is now,
He was an adult when you got him?
Yeah, nobody can tell us how old he was, obviously. We're guessing we got him when he was 2 or 3.
Okay.
He's probably 5 or 6 now.
Okay. The reason why I say that is a lot of people attribute aggression, you know, to things like that or abuse, and then more often than not, it actually doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We were just inferring it based on his behavior. I mean, it's
Sure.
particularly the crating and the food guarding.
Mhm.
and they told us he was picked up off the street.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
he wasn't like dropped off because somebody couldn't handle him. He was loose.
Sure. So, a lot of stuff is just genetics.
Okay.
Okay. And like I've trained dogs that were clearly abused. Like I trained one dog who had stab wounds.
Oh,
I trained one
wow.
dog that had bullet holes.
Oh, wow.
And sweetest dogs. You know, so clearly there was abuse there, but it had no factor in their behavior. Because dogs are present.
Okay.
Dogs aren't past, dogs aren't future, dogs are present. So one trainer put it to me as, you take a stable dog in an unstable environment, unstable dog. Stable dog, stable environment, stable dog. Unstable environment, even more unstable.
Yeah.
Unstable, stable environment, still unstable, right? Because now there has to be more proactive work to get them to stability.
Yeah.
Okay, not to say that you haven't done anything, because clearly you have. But a lot of this can be just the dog itself, okay? Like, let's say he was beaten with a broom, and you brought up the broom and he ran away, I could see that time together.
Yeah.
Because he's thinking, oh crap, this isn't happening yet, right?
Yeah.
But in terms of the actual personality type, typically doesn't have any real factor, okay? And I say that for a couple of reasons. One, just because people tend to carry the past. And when I work with people who think their dogs have been abused, it affects how they interact with the dog.
Sure.
And also affects how they follow through with the training,
Okay.
right? Because they feel bad. So then like, oh, like, well, I don't want to hurt the dog.
So that's how we started out. That's why we went to the behaviorist first, and we realized if we don't do something with him, he is gonna hurt somebody. I mean, we have to get him under control. And I don't want him, I mean, he's the sweetest, like you said. I mean, he is, in our 4 walls, he's a teddy bear. He's snuggly, he's so sweet, he's great from the day that the little puppy came home, that Ernie worships him. I mean, they're bonded, but it's just the interaction with people he doesn't know, or, you know, in environments outside the home, you know, we want him to, you know, have a more enjoyable and, you know, relaxed life, have better control over himself, so that we all can have a better experience.
Correct, yeah. I keep thinking like French pit bull, like a French bulldog pit bull.
I think it's a staffy.
Yeah, it's just his ears and his
Yeah.
face and stuff kind of reminds me of a French bulldog.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, okay. So before reaching out, I'm assuming you've done research on us.
Yes.
Yeah. And how did you find us?
Yeah. I'm sorry?
How did you find us?
Google search initially, yeah, and then I checked all the reviews and whatnot, yep.
Okay. So this is my specialty, okay, behavior, more so around aggression. So here, I'm not really picking up anxiety. I think you have more so a nervous dog. Okay, I have to test a couple of things, but that's more what I'm picking up. The dog that you saw before you was an anxious dog, okay? So the difference there's fear, anxiety, nervousness, and they look very similar, but their differences are anxiety. So actually the nighttime stuff you said,
Yep.
right, that can be anxiety based because the brain's just unable to settle.
Yep.
Nervousness tends to trigger to something. So anxiety keeps moving, nervousness will relax, but then if something changes, they trigger. So earlier when we laughed and we started growling.
Oh, that's
right?
him. That's him then.
And then fear is they don't really let it go, they'll keep barking, but they stay away. Okay, so like, if you put him in another room, like he just bark for like hours until the
Oh, he'll
threat-
stop. Yeah, he'll stop.
Yeah, and then relax. But right there with my hand movements, right?
Yep. But you know, from the day we brought him home, he's had this nervous tic where he nibbles. So he'll find like a toy or a blanket, and when, like you said, when the energy changes, he'll nibble on a blanket.
Sometimes it's first thing in the morning, everybody's getting out of bed and he starts nibbling on the blanket.
And that makes
What are
sense,
you nervous
because with
about?
the
You just
energy
woke
change.
up, you know?
Yeah, we were all relaxed.
Right.
Yeah, we were all relaxed and then start to move.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
So what he's doing is he's redirecting his frustration.
Okay.
Here, with me moving, you know, if he finds it threatening, he starts to growl and all that, right? But for you guys, because you're his family, he still gets frustrated, but instead of like growling at you or whatever, he's just going, I'm gonna release this on this blanket.
Yeah.
So dogs are very much mouth-based, panting, salivating, licking, chewing, biting, barking, nibbling, suckling, all those things, right? To express emotion, okay? So, here with a case like this, the reason why that Prong is able to settle him and why harnesses are just terrible, terrible things is that harnesses are meant for pulling for one. Huskies pull sleds with the harnesses because they want nothing, right? They don't want that happening to the dog. But also agitates and creates or doubles and triples the dog's emotional state. So if he's in a frustrated, aggressive, nervous state, whatever, you're actually amplifying, okay? So that's why when you kept holding him, he was just pissed off, and I was like, well, that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
We need to have a conversation, I go get a prong collar, okay? Now this prong collar is a Band-Aid for now. The reason why it's effective is because we're talking his language, and that's by biting him. So when you pull straight up, you're putting pressure on the prongs, and you're biting him, much like another dog would. And then when he relaxes, you're easing up on that bite, okay? The other thing that you're doing is you're pulling straight up. When we pull back or up and back, we create more agitation, regardless of the tool that you're using, okay? Up de-escalates, back and back escalates, okay?
Okay.
So when you have the right knowledge with the right tools, we can have at least a decent conversation.
Yep.
Harnesses, we would use like, and again, husky spoon sleds, or like for instance in protection training, when we train a dog to actively be aggressive on command, we have them on harness because we want them to get pissed off. So we have the person holding the dog back, much like you were when you came in.
Yep.
And then we have the antagonizer who's sitting there pissing the dog off. Dog starts to grumble, starts to growl, right? It creates suspicion and agitation. And then we build it to where the dog wants to lunge and bite, and then we just keep stacking on that, but we start with a harness. Because again, we want nothing inhibiting the throat, we want nothing to like back the dog off. We wouldn't use a prong, so the dog gets the prong, it's gonna kill the drive that we're trying to create, okay? So that's why you're having issues,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
And then a lot of times what happens with clients is when they get puppies, they put them on a harness because they don't want the puppy to, you know, choke themselves. I get it. But then over time, when going from happy to lucky puppy, becomes frustrated puppy because they keep pulling them away from dogs, becomes agitated puppy, becomes aggressive dog. Because over the course of time, every time they see a dog, the owner pulls them back. So the dog associates negative attention to that dog, all dogs, and over time they make the dog antisocial.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so it's super common.
Is it interesting?
Yeah.
Because it's almost the opposite of what we were told for the reason to get the harness.
That was the biggest waste of $700.
Because they said, well, because anytime you're putting, we had a choker before, you know, anytime you're putting that pressure or pulling.
But that makes sense what you said about the pulling back, because that's what the choker collar did.
Right.
Is different.
And the choker, when you talk about the chain.
Yes.
So the chain could be almost as effective, but what happens is because it's a blunt force, it doesn't work as, because this is biting him.
Can you even believe this right
No,
now?
I can't.
Because you're like biting him.
Right.
Like dogs bite each other,
Right.
it's like communication. So that's why prong is much better than a choke chain. But the other thing is, a choke chain can be effective, but you have to, again, go straight up
yeah.
and not back out.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So that tiny little detail makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, clearly, because this is incredible.
Yeah.
So when he complies and he needs that attention, that's communication.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're telling him like, hey, you're not going to do this to Jesse. Okay. And then when you relax, I relax. But then also Jesse's not a threat. Jesse's not doing anything to trigger that should warrant him to behave that way.
Yeah.
Okay. So here with a case like this, one I have to test to see is there real intent behind his lunging and growling and barking, okay? A lot of times dogs can like, be super threatening, and then you get into their space and they're like, "Ooh," and they shut up. Okay, it's all bluff. In other cases, it's a big show and there might be a low level of aggression, or it might be high level aggression. I don't know until I put him under pressure, and by pressure I mean actually going in to touch him.
Yeah.
Because that's what tells me the full scope of the dog. Let's say he does have real, or to some degree, a level of intent behind all of that nonsense. Then we have to correct that behavior, teach him that that's not allowed, or that's not going to be accepted.
Yeah.
Okay, so technically, so most trainers work around the problem, which is an option, right? But then it's like, well, what happens one day if someone just comes up out of nowhere to touch him, right? And he's not ever been corrected for the bite itself. It remains an option for him.
Yeah.
And I want to teach him it's not an option.
Yep.
So we want to correct that so that, and it's not to say, because if someone comes out of nowhere and touches him, like he's going to be surprised. I would anticipate a bite, right? But if it's been put in his brain that he does not do that, much less likely that's going to happen. So to give you an example, when I first started my business here, I got a pure aggressive pit case, pit bull, and she hated people touching her tail, even the owners. And I spent 2 to 3 classes essentially harassing her and touching her tail. And the owner got really pissed and like even yelled at me. And I was like, trust me, like someday someone's gonna be stupid and grab your dog's tail, right?
Yeah.
Fast forward, we finished the program. They couldn't have people come over and all that stuff. We finished the program, they had people come over, she was warming up to people, she was making friends, they could have a life again. I ran into him at a bar. And the guy comes up to me, he's like, Jesse, he's like, I gotta buy you a shot, man. He's like, I'm so grateful for what you did because they were at a festival in Pilsen, and because they could actually take her places now, and some kid ran up and just grabbed her tail. And she kind of froze and like looked at the kid and then looked at the owners and just kind of sat there, kind of shell-shocked, and did nothing. And he's like, man, he's like, had you not done that, he's like, he would have bitten her for sure, or she would have bitten him for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I said, that's why I did it. Wow, right? Because people are stupid, or can be stupid,
Yeah.
right? They're like, oh, you got a dog?
Well, people, and even in our vet, and I'm so frustrated where we go, I mean, we've been going there for years and years though, but they expect all dogs to be perfectly behaved. And it is so incredibly frustrating to me that even like our little guy Ernie is 8 pounds, that he has a muzzle warning on him for, not to say that he couldn't be aggressive, but because he's a puppy, when you put his collar on, he wants to play, he thinks you're playing with him. They think that's biting. I mean, it's things like that. Yeah, I mean, it's just so incredibly frustrating. So even like situations like that, I mean, I want to get him to a point where, again, we can have people in our home again, or I can take him on a walk and not be terrified that a little kid is going to come up to him. Because there are a few dogs in our neighborhood that look like him, that I'm always concerned that the kids might associate him as one of those dogs and come up and try to pet him or interact with him, and holy crap, I mean, he's gonna go berserk.
Correct. Unfortunately, almost all people are just like misinformed.
Yeah.
You know, or they think like, oh, dogs love everyone and everything, and if they don't, something's wrong with their
Exactly.
dog.
Well, that's what our vet is like. Oh, there's something wrong with your dog if it doesn't sit like this 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
Right.
So, it's super common, you know, so no worries on that. So the way I go about this is, one, I gotta figure out what's the aggression. Is it really aggression, or is it just a guy that's frustrated, who's been mishandled? Okay, and then the next thing is, if there's no real aggression there, okay, then we go about it like I normally would. Okay, so 98 to 99% of the time when I get an aggressive case, they're not aggressive. Because once I come into the personal space, that's what's gonna tell me, is there intent or not? And then also, if there is intent, how bad is it? Some dogs, it can look really bad and they go boop, and then they're dead. Other dogs can look very like in terms of intensity, like nothing, and then you come in and boom. They just come in with power and they're just shaking, right? So you don't know what you're gonna get until you put the dog under pressure.
Yeah.
So if there is no aggression, we start with structure, we start with discipline. So technically what you're doing right now is discipline. When you're putting that pressure on him with the prong collar. When people think discipline or correction, they usually think harsh punishment. You know, they usually take it to an extreme. That's actually not how it works at all. When we talk about pressure, when you're pulling up, I said you're gonna pull up and you're gonna feel him relax. When you feel him relax, you're gonna ease into it, right? That is pressure work. We do the same thing with e-collar, okay? We start low, we work our way up. So think of the more you pull up on the prong, the more contractional pressure you put on him, right? And then finally he's gonna hit a point where he's like, okay, I'm gonna give in, and then we relax. Same thing with the e-collar. We keep raising that number until the dog gives me the behavior I'm looking for, whether it's stopping the aggression or stopping reactivity, or giving me an obedience command.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, e-collar, more commonly known as a shock collar, is not electricity. You're not shocking your dog. Are you guys familiar with stim therapy?
Yep.
The
We
electrodes?
yeah, we have one for the little guy because he's a barker, so yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
So it's almost contraction,
Yeah.
right? So it's just centralized.
This one's a vibration, the one that we use. It gives like a warning signal and then it vibrates.
Gotcha.
It redirects them essentially, yeah.
What we use is an actual stim,
Okay.
the muscle contraction, because dogs are physical animals.
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of times the vibrator, the tone, dogs after so long just go past it because it's not anything really aversive,
Yeah,
right? There has to be some level of discomfort in order for the dog to learn not to do something. Aversives are perfectly healthy. Like I was raised old school, I was spanked. I was spanked if I, didn't do my homework, if I talked back to my mom, if I didn't do my chores. So that became a motivator,
Right.
Either do these things and then don't do certain things. Same thing for dogs. Dogs don't give each other fluoxetine. Dogs don't give each other CBD. They don't give each other treats. They bite each other, okay? And that's how they learn until they raise their puppies and stuff. But the world has been brainwashed to think you can fix things with drugs or positivity. And I'm not against positivity or positive reinforcement, but when I see this, it's the last thing on my mind in terms of fixing the problem.
Yeah.
I didn't come back here with a bunch of treats and say, here, let me throw some cheese at him. I said, let's go get a prong collar, let's talk his language, and then relax. Yeah, let's talk his language and start putting consequence to things, okay? So, here, with the e-collar, and I'm gonna have you actually not pet him anymore, okay? Because you're actually, I know what your intention is.
yeah,
Petting is a reinforcer, and I know you're trying to teach them to, or get them to relax, right, to settle. But really, you're telling them you should be stressed and anxious that Jesse's here. Okay, so when you pet a dog, you're telling them to keep doing what they're doing at that moment. So if you said sit and he sat, you would pet him. That would be correct.
Yeah.
You did what you said. But if you're trying to get him to relax because he's anxious or nervous or aggressive or whatever, you're actually telling him continue to be anxious, nervous, and more aggressive.
wow, okay, I didn't realize that either.
Mhm.
Well, I'm gonna stop putting him in the car then, because he gets all upset in the car.
Yeah, what you would do is exactly what you've been doing, just up in that prong and then relax.
Yeah, okay.
So, because you also want to think that he's looking at you as a reference point,
Right,
and we're all calm passive here. He's the one with issues, right?
Right.
So he's reading the room, and he's like, all right, like Jesse's not a threat, it's not doing anything to harm me. And look at mom, she's not worried, she's not telling me to keep doing the behavior. Dad, she's staying, just sitting there, okay. And then this is actually partially how we can start to create trust. Is him learning like, oh, I can be in the presence of somebody and not be in this aroused or aggressive state.
yeah,
Okay, so that's how we start creating habits.
Sure.
So, if there was real aggression, what we do, put a suit on, come in, have at it, buddy, and correct them for the biting itself. Now with the e-collar, what's great is that he doesn't know where it's coming from. If I do have a fear-based dog, and the dog's lunging, let's say the dog tries to bite me, and I correct them with the prong collar, it just reaffirms for the dog, you should be scared of me, because it sees me yanking.
okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
With the e-collar, the dog does not know where it's coming from. So I come
It
in.
doesn't know what to attribute it to.
Correct. So all the dog learns is, hey, if I bite you, this thing goes off, but if I don't bite you, nothing happens. So then when I go to continue touching him, and he's like, all right, he's like, I bit you, I got corrected, nothing happened, you're still touching me, and nothing's happening. Nothing bad is happening for you, nothing bad is happening on my neck, right? And that's how we start to reprogram the
Gotcha.
brain. Because if I have a dog that does not want to have anything to do with people, the worst thing that could happen to him is touch.
Yeah,
Okay, so if we get him over touch, everything else is pretty much easy.
yeah,
Okay, so that's one part of it. Then from there, there's socialization exercises or exercises. It's super simple. It's just a matter of repeat or repetition, and then time. Okay. Then the next factor is, of course, just control in terms of obedience. So let's say there is no real aggression, and this is just a dog that again is just frustrated, and maybe it's just caught up in nervousness and anxiety. Is we do what I call an indirect approach, and the first thing we always teach is the heel command, walking at your side. No tension. You take 5 steps, he takes 5 steps. You take 1 step, he takes 1 step. When you stop, he automatically sits, and this will be a completely slack leash. Okay? When you have that level of focus and control, it helps fix about 60 to 70% of problems. Okay? And it's not the heel, it's not the obedience that's helping him. It's the e-collar. It's the discipline, it's the consequence for not doing the correct thing that's actually helping you calm down.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you want an example of this, if you go to our YouTube, I'm assuming you saw some YouTube videos?
Yep.
Cashew
Okay.
is a great case to watch. Okay, Cashew came in just like this guy, and I did the same thing because she was on harness. Put her on a prong collar. They were finally able to calm her down.
I can't.
Right now, I'm gonna tell you. To stop.
It's hard not to.
Yep, and up and relax. But you see that energy, right? How when it
Yep.
changes, he starts to disagree. Yep.
Yep.
And relax. So Cashew has come a really long way, okay, in terms of her behavior and stuff. So, and you see in the consultation, she's throwing out a lot of threat. And they go to touch her, she shuts up, does not a thing. The moment I pull back,
Yeah.
she's at it again, right? So here, the first two classes would be the heel exercise, okay? We see what does that fix. Well, that's going well. Then we revisit the touch, okay? On class 3, see where he's at. If that's going well, then I would show you, and then we would use a different muzzle. If you're trying to socialize them, how to socialize them with people correctly, okay? Now, I don't expect this guy to love anyone or everyone that he meets on the street. But like, let's say your family members, your friends, people that would come over on a regular basis,
Yep.
those people matter,
Yep.
okay? It's a very controlled exercise. We do use food paired with the e-collar to balance things out, so there's a positive and a negative, to see where we can get him, okay? He may warm up to everybody, he may warm up to some people and not others, okay? That's where I can't guarantee things, okay? Also, there's just how much time and effort do you put into it. If you can only do that once a month because you only have a guest once a month, well, you're probably not gonna get to that point, right? Or if you do, it's gonna take a really long time. If you have guests come over 3 times a week, you're much more likely to get over humps because you have a very kind of frequent social life, right? So that example I gave you earlier, that fear aggressive pit, they used to throw house parties all the time, 3 to 4 times a week until they got their dog because she became fear aggressive. So then since we had started the training, we pushed all the core things, I said, now you can start socializing. They would have people over 3 to 4 times a week. So they got her over it very quickly. It only took them a couple of months.
Yeah.
Okay? So that just depends.
Yeah, see, we don't. I mean, we, for the most part, like your parents will come over or whatever. I mean, we're so busy. We have 2, a 16-year-old son and a 10-year-old son, so we are out a lot, just running around and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's important, especially with the 16-year-old, for them to be able to have friends over, when they want to. More so, we would like to be able to board him again, to be able to get him comfortable with a place that he's comfortable with, that he's familiar with, and the people, the staff that he's familiar with, to be able to be comfortable in that environment and behave himself in that environment.
Yes. So like here, like he'd be able to board with us.
Yeah.
I had a case like they did one class and 2 days later they had to travel. So they had brought their dog in 2 days later, and their dog actually tried to attack us on when they tried to finger him.
Aww.
So, because she got off the muzzle, she popped out the collar. So, but she ended up boarding here, she was fine, no problem. Because once she was out away from the owner, she was perfectly fine. So, but we would be a resource for you in terms of that. And then, because we reinforce everything that you would be learning from us.
Well, that's important to me too, to us, because again, where we were boarding him at the vet, there was a girl initially who was very pit friendly, and she would take to him, and so he was okay. She got pregnant, she left, and then we had another girl, and then after that girl left, they basically said, stop bringing him, because nobody wants to manage him.
Yeah, sure.
So, which I don't feel is fair to him, but again, they clearly don't use the same philosophies that you do, because now that we've talked through this, it makes a hell of a lot of sense.
Yeah.
With the physical, because we see how they play. I mean, they're always biting each other and.
Yeah, that's how they show affection.
Right.
Some dogs nibble as a form of affection, and even humans, we're physical as well, right? Like we hold hands with our significant others, we hug, we kiss, we get into conversation, right? So we're physical as well. It's just now we have language to also convey these things, right? Sure. So dogs are all physicality. In terms of like length of time and just like cost and all that, we have a number of options. I'd have to test this guy's aggression though, because that's what's gonna tell me the real truth. You guys came at
5.
I thought.
We came at 5, yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna have, how confident do you feel with being able to hold him?
Oh, I'm fine.
Okay. So I'm gonna step out real quick. I'm gonna have you remove the muzzle. I'm gonna grab my sleeve, which
Okay.
allows me to make contact with him
Okay.
so that he can bite, because I wanna see, is there really any intent there, or are you just bluffing?
Okay.
And then from there, I can give you an idea, because I have someone coming immediately after you, so I
Okay.
take care of that. I'll be right back.
So take the muzzle off then.
Correct.
Do you want to do it? Okay.
As long as you're out.
All right, Doug.
They say it's harness because the up here
Yes.
makes it bad. Up here, pulling is not a big deal.
Well, clearly, I didn't attribute it to harness before, but he's gotten so much worse outside.
Well, the cops use those for their dogs when they're not. Those are always like that.
And here, you're not gonna pull up, you're just gonna restrain like you were before.
Okay.
Okay. Short release. So now I'm going to muzzle him again. I'm going to step out real quick.
Sit.
Just give me a shot.
Doug, sit. 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 We're almost done. We're almost done.
It's all twisted. It's all twisted. Right here, right here.
Hold on.
Did you have it on there?
All set?
Just a second.
1 second.
Oh.
Tighten it up.
I wasn't on the floor.
Okay, we're good.
All right. Just go a little bit more up and relax. There we go. It's a little grounded. Okay.
Doug, sit. Sit.
So it's up and down. There you go. And then relax. Okay. So he's just gonna have a little bit of tension because I put him under pressure. In terms of intensity of bite, the first one was like a 3 to 4. That was like the worst one. And the rest were just kind of sideways bites. Yeah. But then once I stayed there for a bit, what happened?
Yeah, he backed down.
He backed down. He was just grumbling like, okay, like shit, what do I do now?
Right.
Yeah. So, if someone moves the wrong way or does the wrong thing, so like for instance, like most people see that they go, whoa. That's why we have the suit, because it allows us to come in and just confront the dog and really show what are your colors, right?
Right.
Because if I move back, it's going to empower him. So that's actually what happened. When I stopped touching him and I moved back,
Right.
he came out even more intense, right? So I'm taking off that pressure, and he's a weaker energy. So that's when he found his moment. Like, now I'm gonna be a tough guy again.
Yeah.
So we could keep playing that game where I move in and he back off going, oh crap. But when I move away, he move forward, right? So you have a few options. definitely this is a case where, in my opinion, you want to do more rather than less.
Yep.
Okay? So I'll give you your options, you pick and choose what you want to do, and then we go from there.
Okay.
The way I operate is I look at the problem, I also have a good understanding of what the problem is, and everything that we do is going to be to get as much control
Thank you.
or to target that problem. So as long as he's settled, he should be fine. Fix this, okay? The one thing that we're gonna need for sure is the heel. That's the first thing that we're gonna cover if we go about the obedience route. See what does that fix. By class 3, we revisit this whole touch exercise, okay? From there, we will give him an appropriate muzzle. We use the basket style and for extended wear.
Okay.
So then we can start pushing towards socialization exercises, okay? If your main concern is really just, if we want to just fix this, we really don't need a whole bunch of stuff. That's what I would do, that would be about 6 classes, okay? My suggestion is, again, I can't guarantee I can make them social, okay? But I can at least give you a lot of control. So then we have 9 and 12-week programs. Okay, the 12-week program will get you as much control as there is. The 9-week program is kind of right in the middle, okay? Now, if you want more of security on this guy over the long term, okay? And I haven't done this in a while, okay? So on my website, you have obedience and behavior programs, right? Now, obedience programs also cover behavior.
Okay.
The difference is with behavior, it's a variable. Obedience, I know what I can get done within the time frame. They realize, Jesse, I want to learn heal and recall, 6 classes. Heal, recall, and don't move, 9 classes. Off-leash training, 12 classes, right? Everyone knows that. But when we have behavior, that's a variable. It can be very easy, it can be very complicated, is we have, it's the most expensive program, and you don't have to do this, it's just if you want peace of mind. That's over the life of the dog. So it's kind of like a guarantee or a warranty, if you will. That one is 12 to 16 classes. Your dog is fully off leash trained, pending you do your homework, and we push as much of the behavior as possible, okay? And then, let's say in 2 years, something crops up, you're covered. You give us a call, hey Jesse, this happened. You explain it to me, I go, okay, sounds like this, and you're like, we've lost control of him. I go, okay, come back in, we make a few adjustments, 2 to 3 classes, you don't pay any money, you're good, it's part of the program, okay? So, like for instance, a 12-week program, I believe is like $1,675 off the top of my head, if you meet me here, work out in the facility. And then we have our behavior program, and that one's $4,250 if I'm remembering that correctly. So it's more expensive, but you're paying for something that's gonna be like a lifelong thing, right? So like I have a young man that has a Doberman, and the Doberman bit his little sister in the face.
Oh, God.
So he did the behavior program, so he's covered, right? So a year from now, 2 years from now, whatever, if something pops up, I come in, he's not gonna pay additional money. In your case, if you did the 12 for like $1,675, if something happened in a couple of years, you needed to come back, you would just pay whatever number of classes you want, okay? So it's really up to you. One just comes with a bit of a warranty, and like let's say I come in, I'm thinking 12 to 16 classes, and we need 4 more classes, you're not paying for those classes.
Sure.
Right, because you paid for that more so result than you did for a set, my time.
Yeah.
So you have those 2 options. So you can do it at minimum 6. If we do 6, I'm doing bare bones.
Yeah, we're not doing the minimum. We're in it for the $4,250. I mean, this is, like I said, I want my life back. I want my kids to, be comfortable having friends over. I want him to be able to come here and board, and I know you take them like this, but I don't want this. I want,
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, now, as you progress, again, he's an animal. We're gonna make a lot of progress, okay? There's a lot of different options. There's one, we're trying to get him to be social again. Again, I care about the people that are gonna be within the home and all that stuff.
Yep.
I cannot make him like people.
Oh, I know.
Right?
Yeah, no,
So you're aware.
yeah.
The things that we'll cover, I'll definitely have to do e-collar training, muzzle training, which it seems like it's fine for the most part. It's just that.
Yeah, the basket, I have a hard time finding one that fits his face, so maybe you can help us with that, because we've had a couple and they just have not been successful for us. This is the best that he'll tolerate, that I know I can get on him.
Yeah. So what we do with this problem is accepting the muzzle, is we have videos that will send you to a muzzle condition. There's also force conditioning, which means using the e-collar to muzzle train the dog. It's not the greatest, but it's an option. But we always tell people food conditions will provide you information for those to watch and do it your own, because it's not really worth your time and money to do that here.
Right.
But if, like, let's say you're still struggling, then I'll say, all right, bring them on in, we'll see what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, we muzzle trained it, I'm just doing it, I'm doing it with food, I mean, and then.
Yes, and that's how we would suggest. You
Yeah.
keep doing it with food.
Do it with food, and then I leave it
It
on
wasn't
him.
cinched down.
It wasn't
kinda
cinched
loose,
down, yeah.
And then we progressively got it to the point where it was on.
Sure, yeah. And the one that we use, if it fits them, has a loop on the bottom that can secure to your collar, and then it has a third strap on top.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah,
So that's
really-
definitely different than what we're using.
Correct.
Or we've used, okay.
So it should be more secure.
Yeah.
Once we get to the range of like, or to the space of socializing and stuff, that Muzzle's gonna be on a lot. He's gonna be your best friend for a bit. Also, to have him here until we like get a feel for him and stuff, you'd also need to,
Yeah.
of course, to come here and all that. So, any other questions or concerns?
No, I don't think so. I think the only thing, I guess, concern-wise or question-wise is the, I guess, stimulation of the other dogs. So, you know, they're, I guess, people reactive, but they're just yappers. I mean, they're, you know, vocal, you know, around people and how.
They're not
I guess,
aggressive, dude.
They're not aggressive at all. No, no, no. They're just excited. I mean, they're Pomsky, so they're, you know, the Pomeranian.
When they bark because of excitement, he thinks, oh my God, you know.
Right.
That's at least the way I.
So I guess that's my only concern is if there's anything that we can do or you can give us tips to mitigate that, I guess, in the home.
Yeah, so that's easier. So like, with the Pomskies, it's just, don't do that. We don't need any real obedience there.
No.
Now, if you want to obedience train them, you
Oh,
can.
they're definitely coming, yeah, I want to, yeah. Because again, they are not aggressive, it would be nicer for them to be more obedient. I mean, they sit, they lay down, they give paw, they do stuff like that, but like the heel training, they still have prey instinct, especially the little guy. Oh my God, he's killed mice, he's all kinds of stuff. So the prey instinct in them is very high, so when they're outside, they just have less control of themselves because they're on the hunt, so.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll definitely be here with them.
So what I would do is let's focus on this guy.
Yeah,
The stopping behaviors is simple, and I can give you information on that until you're ready to bring, do the training with them. Because he's gonna be a bit of work.
yeah,
Okay?
yeah, I wanna focus on him first,
Yeah.
that's what I was telling Maria. They're fine, and we can live with them, but he needs a lot of work.
Yes. In terms of like the fluoxetine and stuff, it's up to you. In my experience, it doesn't. I know at home it settles them.
Yeah,
Ideally, what we should see is once we get discipline and structure, that's actually what's going to settle them. It's
Yeah.
just the consequence for behavior.
yeah,
Most of my clients take their dogs off the fluoxetine. Some of them it makes them feel better. So I'm like, I don't have a problem with it. But if it's like something that you don't want them on, it's, for my opinion, it's not really helping. Obviously, in this scenario,
no, yeah.
that it's for me. You can take.
But I'll be curious to see how his behavior changes at home,
Mhm.
once we start doing this, because yeah, I mean, if that makes sense, we'll definitely take him off of
Yeah,
it.
and again, I don't care, your
Yeah.
house rules. But Maria will get in contact with you. She'll send you the make and model that you'll need for the collar.
Okay,
It runs about 325-ish with tax, fully waterproof, 1 mile range. Meant for big boys, 70 pounds and over, because we want to be able to override any aggressive responses and all that stuff. And then just take it from there. Any other questions, any kind of concerns?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. Oh, what about like regular walks? So obviously he's on this collar for this type of, should he be on this all the time?
No, so only when you need it, right? So like, let's say guests are gonna come over, you're gonna take them on a walk, you're gonna have your equipment on. If he's a great dog, otherwise, you don't need it. Okay? But just assume going forward, anytime you're gonna take him out for a walk, or people are gonna come over, stuff like that, once we get to that point,
Yeah,
he's gonna have that equipment on, okay? And then also.
and you would take him off the harness completely then?
Oh,
Back on?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah,
alright,
for sure.
alright.
Because it's not helping and it's making things.
You're gonna go out and go to the bathroom, whatever, and it's, yeah.
Well, what's gonna happen is, if you take him on the harness and you see someone and he triggers, what are you gonna do now?
Right, yeah, I don't want mixed messages, yeah.
Yeah, and the reason is, because dogs aren't like people, they're not proactive. So you can decide one day, like, we're tired of this, let's go like find somebody, right, and do research and all that stuff. He doesn't, he's
Right.
reactive.
Right,
So if I start getting noisy, he starts to grumble and growl, right? So if that collar's on, think of that collar's a cop. Okay, so like most people speed on the expressway, not many people, right? Yeah, you know. But when they see a squad
Especially
car,
now.
yeah, especially now. But when you see a squad car, what happens?
Right,
Slow down.
right.
Now there's a consequence. So think of the e-collar as that same kind of concept, right? The top and the collar. It's just going to help them chill. Okay. So it's not that the methods don't work or anything like that. It's because dogs or all animals are opportunistic, including humans. So if it's not on, and there's nothing to cap that nervousness or whatever, he's going to feed into it.
Yeah.
But having it on, what we're going to do is we're going to disrupt the pattern, because it's you know, let's say nervousness, stimuli, reaction. And what we're going to do is nervousness, stimuli, and before the reaction or when the reaction happens, correction to stop the process.
Yeah.
So then he starts anticipating a correction. So then instead of going forward, he goes, what happens if I don't do anything?
Yeah.
There's nothing. Okay, so then he starts to break habits. And that's what takes time and repetition.
Yeah.
And also the appropriate power. Because that's essentially what you did.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
It was action and then response, and then little by little he's gotten calmer and calmer.
Yeah.
Right? So it's the same thing, but at the press of a button. Okay? And with the e-collar, you get complete on and off leash control. You know, so if like you were to be off leash and see someone 20 feet away when you're early in the training, he runs, like you can stop him and make him return.
Yeah.
Okay, so it gives you the full control, as close to 100% of control you can get. Okay?
Yeah.
Anything else?
I'm just curious, you know, like, so we're sitting here, you know, he might hear a noise out there. So we're trying to control his reaction to people, but something out there might be, you know, so do you, any noise, any stimulation, do you want him to come down from? Or
Yes and no. So like, let's
Okay.
say in your home, because we have security as well, right? I don't need them barking at people walking by the front window and all that stuff, right? Because you know it's not threatening.
Right.
We would curveball.
Right.
But if someone tried to break your window, that's a completely different context. He would still trigger.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to break your window and then correct him for that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I still want him to bark when people come to the door, or things like that, you know, UPS or whatever. But yeah, you're right. Well, I mean, and he doesn't. I mean, he does. I mean, he
Well, I just
barks-
listen here a little bit. He's growling at the door because he hears something out there.
Right.
But
Correct.
you know, so do we correct him because of, in general,
Yeah.
in this environment, we want to just talk?
Yeah, you determine that, right?
Okay.
So like you know what he should trigger over and what he shouldn't trigger over.
Got it.
And then
Okay.
with a guy like him, you want to be more strict
Okay.
because of that issue.
Got it.
Okay? If
Okay.
he was like the average dog that just barks at stuff, you know, I'm like, you have a bigger window.
Right.
But because there's clearly some kind of, you know, behavioral issue there, you
Yeah.
want to be more strict.
But even when the Tomskys bark and stuff, he doesn't always
Not as much
react.
anymore.
No. I mean, they bark at everything, and he really picks and chooses. I mean, if somebody comes to the door, or he hates like the school bus or the garbage truck or whatever, that's what he'll bark
No, he
at.
thinks Jack's coming on.
Right, yeah, he gets excited.
Yeah. So Maria will be in contact with you.
Okay,
She'll break down everything. She'll send you a form and all that stuff.
okay.
Where are you guys located?
We're in Lockport, so way down south.
Right, Joliet?
Oh, wow, yeah, you're down there. What do you guys feel about it? I feel so important.
In
Yeah,
the snow.
So, what we do is, I'm still doing home visits, but most of the stuff will be here. And then when we get to stuff where it's like, okay, now we have to do it home, you get a discounted travel rate because they're doing, if you do the bigger program.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, you're already investing that much, we'll cut you slack on the travel. And we can do that on an as-needed basis.
Okay.
So we do all the foundational stuff and everything here. Then it's like we're ready for the in-home stuff. We do a couple of classes, and if you find that everything's going well in the home, then you're good.
Okay.
Otherwise, if anything keeps coming out, again, you're covered. You would just pay for the travel fee.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, I think that's good. Thank you. This was mind-blowing.
Yeah.
I'm really, really excited to get started.
Perfect.
So I guess as far as classes are concerned, I guess that'd be my only other question is how often would we?
Once a week for an
Once
hour.
a week, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And then, if I don't see you for a week, because of scheduling or whatever, because you'll get like recurring time ideally. But if
Okay.
you have rotating schedules and stuff, sometimes you don't line up.
Yep.
It just gives you more time to do stuff.
Yep.
Now, do factor in that we are in the middle of winter.
Right,
So, that, the stuff that I give you, some of it is outside.
Yep.
You're gonna have to be outside for a little bit,
Yeah.
okay? But otherwise, most of the stuff is in home, but the heel, of course, has to be done outside, because that's where distraction and stimuli.
Sure.
And we just see, each week it's just, picking up where we left off.
Okay.
Okay? So I'm gonna step out, I'm gonna have you go ahead and, get them muzzled up and stuff, because I think my other consultation just came.
Okay,
And then you can keep them on the prong, and then I'm gonna tell my employee, and once you switch them outside, he'll
Yep.
take the prong from you there.
okay,
Okay.
perfect.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you so much.